What's up, everybody? I'm sitting here waiting for my daughter, but got a little nostalgic. I want to talk about the very first time I've entered a ring to spar. I have two stories. I'm gonna make it fast. I'll try to make it fast. Okay. The first one, I was about 20, 21. I'm a late bloomer in this game. I've been a fan of boxing, kickboxing, martial arts all my life since I was a kid, but I didn't really start getting serious into it until I was about 20, 21. All right. So this is mid 90s. Meaning getting serious as far as going to the gym and actually learning the process. So the first gym I got actual training on was a place called St. Mary's in the Bronx, South Bronx. Yeah, I got trained by, well, for a short period of time, a brother by the name of Understanding Allah. Yeah, he was an interesting cat. That's all I'm gonna say about that. He was interesting. So this one day, he was training, I guess a fighting prospect. The kid was a middleweight or a lightweight, I believe. He was short, really short, shorter than me, a lot shorter than me. So he needed a fighter to spar with because the fighter that he had backed out. So Understanding shouts out to everybody in the gym, yo, I need somebody to come into the ring. Right away, without even thinking twice, my crazy ass said, me? And he was like, all right, come in. Now, mind you, I only had, 2 lessons in of boxing, but I had the heart, and I just wanted to get in there just to see what it was like. So I get in there. Now, all I had was a jab, maybe a right hand, but all I had was a jab. Why? Because I emulated my favorite boxers at the time. Roy Jones Jr., Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard. Those 3 were like the top for me. So I would emulate them. So I get in the ring, they're giving me the headgear. What I do, I start dancing around the ring. Jab, dance, that's all I'm doing. And I'm thinking I'm like doing some good shit. It was just like the Richard Pryor boxing skit that he always said, that when you're in the ring first, you get a little nervous, but then you start to look at your hand and you're thinking you're all that. And so I don't remember if I hit the guy. I think I did. But I was just hitting and running. And he was following me a little bit too. He was moving his head. But it got to a point where this kid just stopped in the middle of the ring and froze and just stared at me like, you really trying to make me look stupid right now? And when he stopped and looked at me like that, I stopped too. Like what is he doing? Before you know it, bam, 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 he came me like the wicked 2-piece jab cross to my face. That to this day, it was like, oh, all that Roy Jones shit that I was doing went out the window. And he just went to kicking my ass to the point, Understanding was like, yo, get out the ring. All right, never mind. Next. So that was a real humbling experience, because it's like, what you think you know, you really don't know. So training is very important, but I have to give myself some dap because I had the heart to go in with an experienced fighter and just, I don't know, the fact that I went in there and said, yo, I'll do it. You know, that speaks volumes. You know, heart is very important, but it takes skill. It takes you to learn. You have to learn the craft. You cannot just watch YouTube and think that's all you need to know. No, you got to get in there and get with somebody, either someone on your same level or better than you. And speaking of, let me talk about another situation that I had. Fast forward years later, when I started martial arts, and I got invited to this Wing Chun school by a friend of mine who worked at Equinox with me. He was a trainer, I was the front desk, and we used to always talk about boxing and fighting. So one day he says, oh, why don't you come down and try out my class? I'm like, all right. I went down there, and where was it at? It's called the Fight House. Now, the Fight House, it was nothing like it. And I really wish they bring it back. Fight House, you get off that elevator. It was one big floor in a loft. One big floor. One section, you had Kung Fu. The next section, you had Karate. Another section, you had Aiki Jiu-Jitsu. You had Jiu-Jitsu. You had Aikido. You had whatever. And then on another side of the room was boxing. You had a boxing ring. That was the shit, you know. Anybody that's been there, first of all, if there's any martial arts or fighting style that you were inquiring, that was the place to go, because you had a smorgasbord of martial arts and fight techniques or whatever. But anyway, he taught his class there. And then so happened, the first night I went was sparring night. And so at the time, I weighed 175, but I didn't look it. I was a little brolic. All the other students were middleweights or younger, or lighter. They were like literally, they were really short. They were like 135, whatever. I was only 175. Sifu Maurice, he was 180. So he goes, all right, well, you're not sparring with these guys. You're going to spar with me. So I'm like, okay. You're the nice guy from the gym. Whatever. Gives me the gloves. Ding, ding, ding. All I remember was just fists and kicks just coming to my face nonstop. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? He just started kicking my ass like I stole his money. And I'm like, yo, B, like really? You know? But he did that, I guess, to teach me some kind of lesson that, you know, this is how he roll. And if you want to stay, you can stay, which is what I did. Like, he really taught me how to fight. He taught me how to take a punch. He taught me how to take a kick. The first and last time I ever had a punch to the solar plex was by him. That's the only time I've been knocked down. Even in any of my amateur tournaments or fights or whatever, I've never been really knocked down. This dude hit me in the solar plex and boom, I dropped. I've never felt so much pain in my life. But anyway, he really taught me the essence of fighting. Okay, that is not just going in there and blah, blah, blah. There's a science to it in any art, whether you're doing boxing, kickboxing, any Muay Thai. There's a science to this that one should take seriously. And I learned a lot of things. I mean, not to say that, you know, what he did was right, because there was days where he would come in and just beat all of us up because he had a bad day. I disagree with that. You shouldn't do that. You should never bring your personal life into the gym and take it out on your students. You know, I wouldn't really do that, but that's just him. Hey, you know, I still have a love for the brother. And but you know, that led me, from all those experiences, that led me to when I got to my new Sifu that I have now, Sifu Rashawn. When I found out there was a fight competition coming up, I was the first to say, hey, I want to fight. How old was I? I was 30. My first fight was at 30 years old. So yeah, I'm a late bloomer, but I had the heart. It's all about heart and getting in there and just having the experience. It's not really more about winning or losing. Because my first fight, I remember waiting, just like my leg was shaking, because it wasn't of nervousness. It was like, yo, I want to hurry up and get this done. You know, I want to do this. And I won my first fight, but the second fight, which I'm proud of myself to this day, I lost the second fight, but I lost to a second Dan degree black belt in, I don't know, whatever he did, but he was highly skilled, and I was only a blue sash in Wing Chun. But I had the heart, and you had to kill me to really defeat me. And he gave me mad props after the fight, because I think at one point I broke his hand too. But anyway, but it's all about the heart. It's all about getting in and wanting to be better. So I say this to say that when you're sparring, it's not about beating each other up. It's about learning. Okay? It's not about winning or losing. Even in the fight, it's not about winning or losing. It's all about, well, it is about winning. You want to win in a fight. But even if you're lost, it's still a win, because it's a learning experience. I've sparred with many guys, to this day that I've learned something from each. I'm like, okay, he hit me here. I got to do this. I got to do that. You know, do that. And also, for me, the best type of people to spar with is women. Women, it's all about technique. They're so aggressive, but they're all about technique. Okay, they're not really all about brute strength, or, you know, because some guys, when you spar with, they act like they don't want to hit you, or they're like afraid to get hit. Some, but with women, they go in. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. But sparring is beneficial, and I think if you're studying any type of fight thing, you should do that. You should look into that. Whether it be boxing, kung fu, karate, muay thai, you must spar. Now, it does not mean taking each other's head off. It's a learning. Just learn from each other. All right, enough of me talking. Later.